One of the hottest teams in the CAA is back at home, taking on the league's reigning champion. Tonight, the Surging Huskies battle against the Delaware Blue Hens at the Cabot Center in Northeastern's Think Pink game. Thanks for joining us on Flow Hoops. Alongside Adam Giardino, I'm Joe Weil. Well, back on February 5th, Northeastern lost to Delaware. They dropped to 5-5 in CAA play at that time. But Adam, since then, the Huskies have rattled off 4 consecutive victories, and they're playing their best basketball of the season.
Yeah, Joe, at that point, it was not conceivable that Northeastern would be in this position. 4 games to go in the regular season, very much within striking distance of first place. The eye is on the prize here tonight for Northeastern.
Now let's take a look at the players to watch now. We'll start on the Delaware side. Clark Sconyors is the team's leading scorer. She's also top 5 in the CAA in block shots per game.
And for me, that's the facet of her game that might be the biggest role, biggest impact here tonight, because Northeastern, they can be a dynamic team hitting it from the outside, but hitting it from the inside, when they get that low post game going, they can be tough to stop. Sconyors needs to play good defense and stay out of foul trouble tonight.
On the other side, we focus on Jemima Motema. She led the Huskies with 16 points in their last win against Hofstra. She's also the most efficient scorer in CAA play.
The reason for the efficiency is she just gets out and runs, and it's a lot of easy transition basket. 24 points in transition in that last win for Northeastern. It matched their season high. 16 points for Motema, and a large chunk of that came on the run.
We'll see if the Huskies can continue their hot stretch. Our sideline reporter, Milton Posner, had a chance to talk to head coach Bridgette Mitchell about the team's great play as of late and more.
Coach, your squad's won the last 4, all of them by 5 or 7 point margins. What's it been for your team that's allowed him to do that?
Yeah, I think that we've been really focused in on us and trusting the process that we've been going through. From playing close games to playing games that, we didn't have the outcome that we wanted. I think that everybody's been bought into that, and we've been playing well as of late.
You got a Delaware team walking into the gym tonight that beat you down in Newark a few weeks ago. What's going to be the key to flipping that script?
Yeah, definitely our defense. They had about, I think, 6 players in double figures last time we were out, so we're going to look to limit that and control some things on the defensive end and look to push the tempo like we always do.
We can see from the surroundings, we can see from what you're wearing. There's a little bit of a theme for tonight's game. Would you tell us about it?
Yes, our Think Pink is to raise awareness for breast cancer. We have Izzy, her mom Liz, who was recently diagnosed last year. She overcame it. Lenica, our volleyball coach. And so breast cancer impacts a ton of people throughout the country, around the world. And so this is just our small part that we can do to raise some awareness and raise some funding to help find the cure.
Awesome, Coach. Best of luck to you and your team tonight. It's Friday night basketball from the Cabot Center, Northeastern and Delaware when we come back.
My name is Lenica Vasquez. I am the head volleyball coach at Northeastern University. The thing that will help women's sports is exposure. We're not female athletes. We're not women athletes. We're athletes. So get us in front of the camera. Once you see a volleyball match, you're going to come back for more. But we need that exposure. So the partnership with the City of Boston Credit Union is huge for us. And it just offers us an opportunity to say, hey, here we are. We're going to turn around and uplift the women that are coming up.
And we welcome you back to the Cabot Center as the Huskies and Blue Hens get set to match up for the second time this season. Delaware won the first meeting between the two teams 77-67 back on February 5th. As we take a look at the statistics on both sides, and Adam, these two teams are pretty even, as you can see, up and down statistically.
The number that jumps out to me on the screen, though, is that defensive field goal percentage for Delaware. They are the best team in the conference defensively, but the bugaboo for Delaware can be the offensive rebounds allowed. So they're really good at denying that first shot. It's just a matter of cleaning it up off the glass and not allowing that second and third chance for their opponent.
Yeah, and rebounding is a part of Northeastern's game. They really excel. They're second in the conference in rebounding margin, and then in conference play, they actually have the best rebounding margin at 5.2, plus 5.2, the mark for the Huskies in CAA action. But it should be a fun one tonight between these two teams. The Huskies 6-4 here at home, 9-5 in CAA play. The Blue Hens, meanwhile, 7-3 away from home and 7-7 in CAA action. We'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Huskies, and here is who they're throwing out today. Jalen Batts, Darren Artigan, Jemiah Braxton, Jemima Motema, and Asha Parker rounding out the starting five. On the other side for the Blue Hens, it's Tara Cousins, Mia Yanagacio, Demi Burdick, Michaela Pippin, and then Jewel Smalls rounding out the five for Delaware. We highlighted Clark Sconyers in the open. She's going to come off the bench today. She took a spill in that game against Drexel. Northeastern wins the tip, and we are underway here at the Cabot Center. Three officials today: Ryan Nunes, Corey Chambers, and Elizabeth Kuzminski. Braxton bounces to Batts, who's starting her 8th consecutive game. Gives away to Darren Artigan, who's been one of the best players in the CAA. Step back three, that's good. And what a way to start the night for the Huskies. A triple from Artigan.
A familiar sight for Delaware. Artigan went for 18 points, knocked down 4 triples against them in the first meeting, and she's got a hot start here.
Tipped out of bounds. It's going to stay Blue Hens basketball. And Artigan, she's been the leader for the Huskies all season long. One of the best players in the conference. 6 in points per game, 3rd in assists per game in the CAA. Smalls is able to catch it in the left wing off the trigger. Inbound pass. Cousins on the baseline. Kicks out to Smalls. One of the top 3-point shooters in the league. That's a long 2, and she does not connect. Motema brings it down. Jemima Motema puts it on the floor. Gives way to Braxton. Her triple from the corner. Spills out. And the rebound brought down by Pippin.
Nice job by Pippin. She had Motema athletically climbing over her back.
Cousins up top to Pippin. Pippin attacks, can't finish. Good defense from Batts. Artigan to Motema. Motema on the drive. Kick out. Braxton gets it up top to Batts. Feeds Artigan. 3-0 advantage for Northeastern early on as Artigan sets up the half-court offense. Artigan comes in averaging 14.8 points per game. She tries another right wing 3. That's off to the left. Pippin ends up grabbing the board, and Cousins brings it the other way. One of the 4 captains on this Delaware team. She attacks, some contact down low. Call not made, and now Northeastern comes the other way.
Yeah, that's one where I could have seen a foul get whistled against Motema there, and Northeastern's fortunate that there wasn't.
A turnover right after the defensive stop for the Huskies. Ariana Webb comes into the game for the first time.
And that's Halia Duwu checking in, typically number 35, but with the alternate jerseys here, the Duwu into the game for Northeastern.
Now you see the alternate jerseys that the Huskies are wearing. Gray tops and bottoms with pink on the sides. Of course, part of the Think Pink game. Showcased tonight here at the Cabot Center. Delaware in their road blacks. To the right wing, and a travel called on Nakaya Mays Prince, who just checked into the game. So Delaware still without any points over 2 minutes in. Mia Yanagacio, she came out of the game when Mays Prince came in. Braxton has it top of the arc. Swings the left side to Webb. Back to Braxton, who looks to feed down low, and a foul on the floor. It's going to go against Delaware. First team foul for the Blue Hens, and it's Demi Burdick who picks it up.
And again, for Northeastern, an area where they have depth is in the post, and so for Burdick, she's got to be a little more mindful and pick her spots a little better on where she might be picking up some fouls.
Step back 2 from Artigan, it's short. Duwu tried to save it, but it bounced out of bounds. So great defense on both sides to start this one, Adam, and both offenses trying to figure something out.
And you know, in the last game here at home, Hofstra, that is exactly the kind of start that we saw until Northeastern opened the throttle edition. Another travel here on Delaware.
And another turnover for the Blue Hens, their second. So Mays Prince comes out. And now Karis Idem, the UMass Lowell transfer, comes into the game. This Blue Hens team filled with transfers. They lost all of their starting lineup from a season ago. A Blue Hens team that won the CAA tournament championship. Ended up beating Drexel in the final. Braxton has it right wing. Baseline jumper from Braxton, way too strong. Idem on the other side grabs a loose basketball. Blue Hens out and running. Cousins lost it momentarily. Now a long two from Pippin hits the heel. Offensive rebound for Burdick. And the Blue Hens reset.
See if they can't cash in. 0 for 5 from the field, plus a pair of turnovers to start for Delaware.
Burdick who grabbed the offensive rebound, a transfer from East Tennessee State. Shot clock at 6. Long two from Idem doesn't fall. And another offensive rebound for the Blue Hens.
And we were talking about how Northeastern's going to have their eye on the offensive glass, and for Delaware, they got 3 chances there, ultimately ending in that turnover.
And another travel called against the Blue Hens as well. This time it's against Cousins. We see Sconyers check into the game for the first time. 3 substitutions for the Huskies. Braxton, Parker, Artigan come out. Deja Bristol checking into the game for the first time for the Huskies. Batts has it at the free throw line, out to Webb. Now she feeds Bristol. 3 bodies meet her. Stout defense. Motema gets the loose ball. Pull up 2, doesn't fall. It rims out. There is a lid on both baskets so far. And the foul is going to go against Northeastern. It's Jalen Batts who picks it up, her first.
Well, Delaware would have had a right to blow a gasket if that was an offensive foul. There was a lot of contact at the other end in the paint on Deja Bristol, creating contact. Here's a look. And maybe not as bad as it looked in real time, or at least that angle helped the case of Jalen Batts, but still a blocking call. But at the other end, there could have been a charge on Bristol, or at least a travel and up and down something. They got no call there.
Batts has been one of the key players defensively, and the Huskies get a takeaway. Motema loses it, kicks it out. Batts, long two from the right side, hits off the side of the rim, and the rebound ends up being brought down by the Blue Hens. Cousins in transition, inside the paint, now outside. Her 2-pointer rims out, and it continues to be an offensive game on both sides that both teams just haven't been able to buy a basket.
0 for 7 for Delaware with 4 turnovers. Northeastern not much better. The 1 turnover and 1 of 7 shooting, the 3 from Artigan.
And that was the first offensive possession for the Huskies. Motema can't get that floater to go, and a foul against the Huskies. It's called against Deja Bristol, who you just mentioned with Holly Edu. She's wearing a different jersey than what she normally does. Same goes for Deja Bristol. She usually wears 31, and today wearing 30.
I do love the gray threads, though.
Me too.
Pink accents, white accents.
One of several jerseys that the Huskies have sported at home. Kick to the corner. Mays Prince, bounce pass. Here's a 2 from Spurs. That hits the front of the rim. Artigan fights for the rebound. It ends up being taken away by the Blue Hens, but Ojo throws it away. She tried to save it from going out of bounds. Instead, it went right into the hands of the Huskies. But a turnover on the other side. Michelle Ojo feeds down low. Good block from Artigan on a transition attempt from Jules Smalls. And with that stoppage, we'll head to a break. It's been a defensive battle. Huskies lead 3-0 over the Blue Hens. Back right after this on Flow Hoops.
My name is Tremaine Shaw, and I'm the head coach in the cross country and track and field programs at Northeastern University. I cannot stress enough how important it is for female athletes to be given the supports, to be given the opportunities. I was really impressed by the commitment City of Boston Credit Union has made to female student athletes. The more exposure that's given, the more young women will be influenced to continue down this path.
City of Boston Credit Union, today's teammates, tomorrow's leaders.
It's time to go. She wants to stay, but mom says no. You know we cannot make your father wait. As the car pulled away, saw you looking back, hoping I could help you with your great escape. Forever and ever, and I hope that we'd find that we turned out fine. I remember holding your hand, squeezing tighter the faster we ran. I remember watching you cry, wish the pain away as I close my eyes. We were only barely 15. We were only barely 15. We were young and innocent, but we had our dreams. We were only 15. I need to try it first.
Well, today is Northeastern's Think Pink game as part of raising awareness for breast cancer, and the pregame ceremony was so cool to see. Members of the athletic department being honored before the game, and then also Izzy Larson's mom had a chance to be honored before today's contest. Her mom, Liz, was diagnosed with breast cancer in January of 2022, and this past Monday, Liz completed her last round of treatment. She's now cancer-free, so great to see her honored on the court today as part of today's festivities, Adam.
You know, for Izzy to be able to play in front of her mom, and not that her parents live too far away from Boston, Pennsylvania. They're not able to get here all the time, but I'm sure any excuse to get them here, make a whole weekend out of it. I'm sure it's a lovely get-together for the Larson family, especially with hopefully everything in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. We're wishing all the best for the Larson family. In the meantime, Clark Sconyers with the first bucket for the Blue Hens, and now she's at the line for an and-one opportunity. She's a 77% free throw shooter, and she sinks the and-one, so we're tied at 3, as you can tell by the score. And as that ball's last touched off of Michelle Ojo, there hasn't been a lot of buckets in today's matchup.
2 of 18 combined. Here's another look at Sconyers, the great feed, the setup, and then the bump. But Ojo definitely got that thing started there for Delaware.
And that foul went against Jemima Motema. Here's Artigon, right wing 3. Can't drop it in. It hits off the rim. Motema's able to save it. And then she turns it over. Ojo with the steal in transition. Artigon tried to put her hand in. Now a foul's called, and Ojo will head to the line for 2 shots.
Huskies foul against number 0, Jalen.
So Ojo, the transfer from George Washington, heads to the charity stripe for 2.
Jalen Batts unimpressed with the call, and in transition it seemed as if the foul occurred, Batts backed off, and then Ojo lost the basketball. So while it certainly seemed like a foul was in the mix there, it was just an interesting moment where Ojo was not able to secure the basketball, put it away. And yeah, the foul occurred a little deeper into the paint, it seemed. And again, there were a couple of arms reaching in. But I think Ojo, more than anything, probably disappointed that she didn't keep hold of it and just finish an and one.
She does sink both free throws, and that's a big foul for 2 separate reasons. Northeastern now with 14 fouls, 1 away from the bonus. And now Batts has 2 personal here in the first. Iduwu in the paint, spins, floats it up, rims out. Bristol fought for the ball, and it's last touched off of the Huskies. So Northeastern, after Darren Artigon sank a 3-pointer to start the game, they're now 0 of their last 9 from the floor. A 5-3 game, Delaware leading. Karis Idem with Darren Artigon on her. Asks for a screen, she gets it, now splits the defenders, kicks it out left wing for Ojo. Now pass to the corner for Demike, and she sinks the baseline jumper.
7 straight rattled off by the Blue Hens. 6 minutes without a point for Northeastern.
Rebecca Demike, the URI transfer with a bucket. And it's now a 7-3 game. Artigon swings it left side to Batts. Batts at the free throw line. Finds Braxton on the baseline. Braxton attacks, flips it up off the window, shots way off. Now the Blue Hens out in transition. Kicked it to Mike, fed down low to Sconyers. Good ball movement here from the Blue Hens. 3 from the corner from Idem, doesn't drop in. Bristol fights for the rebound with Ojo, and a jump ball is called. It's going to stay Delaware basketball. Possession arrow pointing their way as Jemima Motema is set to check in, along with Asha Parker. Ali Iduwu comes out alongside Deja Bristol. No, it's actually Batts that's going to come out, so Iduwu stays in. 2:53 remaining here in this first quarter. The teams have combined for 3 of 23 shooting. Idem, step back 2 from the baseline. That's pure, and the Blue Hens now on a 9-0 run.
Things weren't going their way, and now all of a sudden they are, and Bridgette Mitchell just not happy with the combination she's put out there. It seems like the continuity just hasn't been there with any 5 that she's put out on the court.
Motema at the free throw line looking to feed down low, and it's batted away. Another turnover for the Huskies, 4th already in this game. Ojo across the lane, and in good hands there from Parker to smack the ball out of her hands. It's going to stay Blue Hens basketball with 23 seconds left on the shot clock.
And here's another look. The knockaway there by Parker, and again, a lot of contact.
3 from the corner, way too strong. And Ojo is able to track it down. Now in the paint, feeding Sconyers. Left-hand hook off the windows, no good, but a foul.
Yep, and Parker reaching in, Sconyers going right into the body of Asha Parker and creating that contact. And just a really nice, strong play on a scramble drill after an air ball 3 out of the corner.
So now Sconyers heads back to the charity stripe. Already 1 of 1 on the line today. She sinks the first of 2. And this may be one of those grinded out games where you really do need to cash in on the free throws. Second of 2, perfect swish. So it's an 11-0 run here for Delaware. And the Huskies now without any points for over 7.5 minutes.
In light of that, fortunate that they're only down 8.
Mariana Webb out to Braxton. Braxton shut off. Now a turnaround 2-pointer. That's good. And that's how the scoreless drought ends. An answer on the other side. Do they get it? Yes, they do. Rebecca Demike with a triple, and a timeout taken by head coach Bridgette Mitchell of the Huskies.
See, she can handle 7.5 minutes without a point. Things were ugly at the offensive end, but she will not accept defense like that, getting back in transition. You're feeling your oats by making a bucket at one end, and Jemiah Braxton sure does, but coming right back the other way. Demike grabs a triple. She's got 5. The junior from Toronto has extended this to the largest lead of the evening, 9 for Delaware.
And she's a player you don't want to allow to be open from beyond the arc. She shoots over 40% this season from downtown. You know, one thing the Huskies, Adam, they've done well over this 4-game winning streak is get out and running. They just haven't been able to really do that today against this Delaware team.
No, we highlighted it right at the top that being able to get out in transition, 24 points on the run for Northeastern. That was in their last game. Fast break points, none so far today.
Artigon splits 2 defenders, kicks it out to Motema. That's a 3-pointer. She can't get that one to fall. Webb is fouled under the basket on the putback attempt, so Ariana Webb heads to the charity stripe for 2.
That's a really nice job of sniffing it out by Webb. A rare 3-point attempt for Jemima Motema. She's attempted just 8 threes in her last 19 games. Subtext to that, she's missed them all. So not necessarily in her game, but that one felt relatively in rhythm. But a nice job by Webb, again, getting to the offensive glass.
First of two from Webb, up and in. It's been an interesting season for Ariana Webb in her freshman campaign. She's come off the bench now over the last 8 games, but she had a stretch in which she started 10 consecutive contests. She had a big game against Monmouth in which she went 4-4 and 3 of 3 from downtown, 11 points in total, and it was a win, 75-70 for the Huskies in that contest. Ojo, 2-pointer, that's good. Michelle Ojo's had a nice first quarter.
That was a really savvy move, just cutting it back from the wing, found a weak spot underneath the free throw line. Didn't try to take it all the way in. She had daylight and she took it.
And the Blue Hens are starting to get hot from the floor. Motema running floater up and in. She thought she got hit, but it's a 7-point game now, under a minute remaining in the first quarter. Smalls up top to Cousins, who had 14 points against Northeastern in the first meeting. Cousins, baseline jumper falling away. It's too strong. Motema the board. Northeastern out and running. Artigan down low. Braxton flips it up and in, and it's a 5-point game.
Well, there you go for Northeastern, just getting out and running. Normally it's Motema ahead of the pack. That time it's Braxton.
So despite all the shooting woes for the Huskies, they're only down by 5. Shot clock's turned off. Smalls slings it up top to Cousins. Back to Smalls on the right wing. She can let it fly from downtown. Finds Sconyers for an easy 2.
Precious seconds ticking off.
Artigan, half-court heave, almost went in. But that'll do it in this first quarter. Not a lot of offense on both sides, just 10 made field goals combined between the two teams, but Delaware leads 18-11 after 1.
Today's game is about stopping the clock against all cancers affecting women. As a result,
Time for the North. Welcome back to Center, where a peculiar first period of play has the Delaware Blue Hens up 7. And with just 2 weekends left in the CAA regular season, we thought we'd take a look at the bunched up standings and see who is closest to earning that pivotal first and second round bye. Remember, the top 4 teams get to skip through to the quarterfinal round. And with no clinchers yet, that rightmost column is going to show you the strength of each team's schedule and where it ranks relative to the other CAA squads. So you can see Northeastern has a very favorable position. They're knocking on the top 4 door. They've got the easiest remaining schedule of any team. But they can't get complacent because William and Mary, same record, right below them in terms of the difficulty. They are similarly situated, plus, as anyone familiar with this league knows, the CAA gods do not and will not look kindly upon any team that falls asleep down the stretch. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Milton. And where Northeastern is right now, they're in the 5 spot right now in the conference at 9-5. They do have the same record as Towson and William and Mary, but they are behind Towson because Towson won the matchup earlier this season back on January 27th. So to Milton's point, Northeastern has to play the rest of the slate out, and they can't take any of their opponents lightly because every win is so important to try to get the double bye.
Right, this weekend you got 7-7 Delaware, 7-7 Hampton coming to town, and those are the 2 hardest games remaining in terms of current CAA record. So, you know, at this point, see what Northeastern's able to do.
Motema went for the steal on that last pass. It was last touch off her hand, so still Delaware basketball. Alongside Adam Giardino and Milton Poster, I'm Joe Weil. Appreciate you joining us on Flow Hoops. Sconyers in the paint. Finds a cutting Pippin who loses it. Now ball's up for grabs. Artagon's able to get it, and Northeastern's out and running. Braxton on the attack, flips it up. She's fouled, and Jemiah Braxton now heads to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Savvy play by the grad student. There really wasn't a whole lot there, but she got out in transition and just took it upon herself. You're not always going to get a free and easy, clear path to the hoop. Sometimes you just got to take it right at the teeth of a defender, and that's what Braxton did.
Foul goes against Demike. First team foul for Delaware in the second quarter. First of 2. Ends up falling in. Jemiah Braxton's had a really nice season for the Huskies. She gets her 12th straight start tonight. This is the 3rd program she's been with. She started her collegiate career at Cleveland State, then transferred to Northwestern State, and now here with the Huskies. And she's really upped her production as the season has progressed.
Right, she missed 4 straight games from the end of November until mid-December, but especially from beyond the arc, she's been heating up.
Smalls from downtown, and the Blue Hens go back up by 8. Smalls can really let it fly from beyond the arc. That's her 201st attempt from beyond the 3-point arc.
Well, she tried 9 of them in the first meeting between these 2 schools. Only made 2.
Now on the floor, it's going to go against Delaware. Smalls came into the game 5th in the conference in 3-point field goal percentage and 4th in 3-point field goals made per game. A little shy of 3 per contest as Sconyers comes out of the contest. As that last foul went against her, she now has 2 in this game. Artagon's floater doesn't hit the rim. Motema's able to save it. And that's going to back things up. She's now 1 of 7 from the field and 0 of 6 after knocking down a 3-pointer to start the game. Another foul going against the Blue Hens. That's now their 3rd of the second quarter, something to keep an eye on. Goes against Demi Burdick. That's her 2nd personal.
And for Burdick, again, she's 6'2". Remember, her first foul that she picked up was going over the back on an entry pass into the high post. We said at that point that she's got to be careful about where and when she picks up her fouls. And right there, that was another non-critical foul to pick up.
But another takeaway for the Blue Hens. They almost give it right back. Loose ball still up for grabs, and the jump ball is called.
Jump ball on the floor, possession area keeps it for the Blue Hens.
And we do have a player down as well for Delaware, Michelle Ojo. I don't know if that's she's being helped to her feet.
And clearly in some pain, grimacing a little bit, and she's going to come out of the contest and now limping off. Yeah, that's not a good sign. And she's a player that gets a lot of playing time for this Blue Hens team. One of the key reserves that they have.
Yeah, she's 50% from the field, 6 points, 4 rebounds, and especially as we're talking about Burdick coming out and she's 6'2", with those 2 fouls, you lose another post presence in Ojo. And that's not an area where Delaware can afford really to...
Good hands by Motema to knock it out of bounds.
Yeah, Delaware can't just afford to go too deep into the rotation there before they start giving up size and experience to Northeastern.
Cousins slings it left side to Demike. Back to Cousins. Motema went for the steal. Now fed to the corner. Smalls another triple. It's short, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Good gamble taken by Motema on the outside, and the trust that she has in her teammates to not come up with that steal and still rotate appropriately so that they don't give up a wide open look. Smalls had a clean look, but not wide open.
Northeastern is just all out of sync right now. Even the inbound pass to Artigan, she wasn't ready for. Here's Mays Prince in the front court. Kick out, three-pointer from Demike. Hits the heel, but another offensive rebound for the Blue Hens. It's Pippen who grabs it. Now Cousins on the attack. She can't finish. Webb gets tied up with Cousins. It's going to go the other way.
As we talked about rebounding, and there's another one where even though Northeastern secures the defensive rebound, there was still a really nice tie-up by Cousins. That the rebounding margin right now is +5 in favor of Delaware. So that's a storyline that we weren't anticipating coming into this.
And Michaela Pippen, she's been a big part of it. She got that last offensive rebound. She comes into today 4th in the conference in rebounds per game, a little shy of 8. Here's Artigan weaving her way into traffic. Now out to Motema along the baseline. Was trying to find Braxton. Now Artigan picks it up. Her three-pointer's way too strong. Idu was able to grab the loose ball. Shot clock still rolling down. It's at 10. Now Braxton pull up baseline jumper and she rattles it home.
8 points for Braxton, and she's come up with a couple of buckets here tonight that haven't been in the flow of the offense. She's bailed out the team when things aren't flowing fluidly.
Pippen, kick out, corner three from Cousins. It's off, and Idu grabs the loose ball. Huskies down by 6. Braxton. She has it right wing. Tries to feed down low to Bristol. Last touched off Cousins. Those entry passes into the paint, they haven't been successful for the Huskies so far tonight.
Delaware has chosen to front a lot of the post players, and so lobbing it up over the top. The Blue Hens have been up for the challenge of fronting and then going up and tipping, deflecting, knocking those passes away.
Sarah Jenkins, first-year head coach, has to love what she's seeing from her team. Idu, nice move in the paint, and she lays it in. It's a 4-point game.
Not often do you see a pump fake get 2 defenders up in the air, but that's exactly what we just saw.
Kick to the corner, Smalls, three-pointer. She rattles it home, and the lead up to 7 now for the Blue Hens. Smalls with 2 three-pointers.
Pretty good answers on a couple of baskets. Delaware in the first quarter was able to stifle a mini run by Northeastern with a three-pointer. They do the same here.
Parker down low, Motema in the paint, turnaround, drops in, lead back down to 5.
Just so athletic. The ability to get herself into the air, but hang there, just suspend herself and do enough to clear out the defender.
4 points now for Motema. Smalls another 3. That's too strong. Braxton the board. Artigan finds Braxton. Braxton pull up 2-pointer. She knocks it home, and it's a 3-point game.
Surprise source of offense, 9 points against Hofstra over the weekend, last weekend, and Braxton already with 10 first half points to lead all scorers.
Huskies got connected on their last 4 field goals. An answer on the other side. Do they get it? Yes, they do. The Blue Hens back up by 6. Karis Idem with a 3-pointer.
Northeastern's missed its last 6 3-pointers. Meanwhile, Delaware's 4 of 10.
Artigan, turnaround jumper, way short. Motema there to clean it up, flips it up, and it doesn't go in. And Smalls comes the other way, out and running, feeds to the left wing. Idem back out right wing. Mays Prince a 3. Too strong. Parker fighting for the rebound. The Blue Hens are able to get it. That was Smalls grabbing the offensive rebound, and Demike is able to flip it in inside the paint. Smalls only stands at 5'7", but she was able to jump up and grab that as she was battling with Parker inside. Here's Motema penetrating. Flips it up with the left hand. It doesn't go, and now the Blue Hens out and running again. Mays Prince, kick out to the right wing for Idem. Idem now to the corner. 3-pointer is good. Demike knocks it down from the left corner. And the Blue Hens up the lead to 10.
There was a hand in the face there for Motema, and still ice 3 out of the wing.
So an 8-0 run now for the Blue Hens, and Artigon turns it over. 10-point lead for the Blue Hens, 31-21 the score with 3:47 left in the first half. Back right after this from the Cabot Center on Flow Hoops.
CAA champions are built by commitment, dedication, and courage. CAA champions live on the court, on the pitch, on the track, on the field, and in the pool. CAA champions live on Flow Sports. You want more? CAA Hoops has more. More teams, more fast-paced action, more heart, more energy, more excitement. CAA Hoops, we've got more.
Huskies down by 10, 31-21 the score. Delaware leading over Northeastern as we take a look back to what Delaware did a season ago. They went 24-8 overall, an incredible 15-3 in conference action, and ended up capturing their third CAA tournament championship. They ended up beating Drexel in that tournament title game. And new head coach Natasha Adar, she moved on to be the head coach of Arizona State. And Sarah Jenkins, a longtime assistant who then spent 1 year at Penn State as an assistant. She's back with the program and leading this Delaware club. And you know, it's an interesting task for her. So many players left Delaware after they captured that CAA tournament title. Their whole starting lineup not back with the team, so she had to go to the transfer portal to find some production on the offensive end.
Well, and that same story in some ways is true for Northeastern, where they have had a whole lot of success this year going to the transfer portal. Big time block there. And for Northeastern, you know, it's just in Delaware, that's the nature of college basketball in 2022-23.
Braxton thought about the three, instead pulls up from the free throw line, and a loose ball foul goes against the Huskies. Oh, and actually it goes against Delaware.
Yeah, and you know, Northeastern was confused that the foul was being whistled against them. There were a couple of players that were in the general area, both Uduwu and Parker, but frankly that the call got changed to being against Delaware makes a little bit more sense based on what we saw.
Tamike now with 2 personal fouls. She was whistled for that last foul. She now comes out of the game. Tara Cousins comes in.
It is worth noting that Michelle Ojo is back in the game for Delaware after coming off awkwardly with what seemed to be a bang-up injury.
Parker. They're going to stay the ball touchdown of bounds. So Delaware basketball up by 10. That is a great sign to see Ojo back in the game. The fact that she's okay.
When she was coming off, it was hard to tell what had happened. She was stretching out her neck. She asked to be helped up by her teammates. She hobbled off. Could have been any number of things.
Kick ball called against Braxton. How about the handles from Maze Prince on the left wing? She's really deking Webb and then was able to dish the ball away. But she's been impressive so far today. The freshman from Chicago, Illinois.
The only freshman getting minutes for Delaware really this season.
Idem's two-pointer, too strong. Another offensive rebound for the Blue Hens. Smalls finds Cousins in the left wing. Now it's fed down low to Ojo. Her pass inside, batted away by Batts, and now Braxton brings it the other way. She's fouled. She flipped it up, knowing that she was going to draw contact, and now 2 shots coming for Jemiah Braxton.
Braxton playing hard, 10 points in this first half. Her career high is 21, so we'll keep a light monitor on that. But she's had gains of 19 a couple of times, 16 a couple of times, 14, 13, but this is certainly marked as one of the best halves that she has had in a Huskies uniform.
Those 21 points came against Elon. Over the first 9 games of her Huskies career, she averaged 4.3 points per game. But over the last 12, 12.6 points per contest. And she sinks both free throws. Now her point total up to 12. Jemima Motema comes back into the game. Jemiah Braxton grabbing some rest along with Ariana Webb and Asha Parker, who both came out. Artigan looking for the steal, and it's going to go the other way. Good hands by Darren Artigan.
Artigan's had a frustrating start after making the three-pointer to open the scoring. She's gone 0 for her last 8 and 5 turnovers to boot. So maybe defense can help spark her at the other end.
Deja Bristol back into the game. That recent substitution along with Artigan. Bristol has it in the high post, hands off to Artigan. 8-point game, Blue Hens leading. Huskies looking to cut into the deficit. Shot clock at 5. Artigan step back 2, off to the left. Loose ball picked up by Motema. She heaves it up and it hits the top of the backboard. A shot clock violation for the Huskies.
Well, the awareness was certainly good for Motema after tracking down that offensive rebound, but what put them in the gutter was the fact that Artigan's initial shot never caught rim, and there were just a few ticks left on the shot clock.
Huskies 8 of 29 shooting in this first half. Maze Prince, cross-court pass to Idem. Idem, pull up 2. Rims out, Bristol the board. Artigan outlets it to Batts. Now to Motema on the left block. Motema, turnaround jumper, that's pure. 6-point game.
Yeah, there just aren't that many players in this league that are capable of a turnaround jump shot where, again, hangs in the air and is able to do that.
Good hands by the Huskies. It still is Delaware basketball. If you want to spin this positively, if you're the Huskies, you're shooting 30%, you're down by 6 to the reigning champs of the conference.
Can't get Motema going with a few more looks like that. Isolated in the post.
Smalls gets open for 3, bottom. Jules Smalls from downtown, her 3rd three-pointer, and the lead's up for Delaware.
Yeah, she's got 3 of the 5. Northeastern has missed its last 7 threes. They haven't hit one since the opening minute of the game.
Artigan out to Motema. Feeds Iduo in the left block. Iduo spins. Left-hand hook, too strong. Bristol there to clean it up. 7-point game. Maze Prince is going to slow things down. About an 8-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Maze Prince to Idem. The UMass Lowell transfer puts it on the deck. Kick out right side to Smalls. Back to Idem. Shot clock at 7. Artigan went for the steal. Motema is able to get it. Outlets it to Artigan, but it's stolen right back by the Blue Hens. And they will hold here for the final possession. Maze Prince, kick out to the corner. Pippen wide open for a triple, and she buries it to end the first half. What an end sequence for Delaware as they go up by 10 at the halftime break. 37-27 the score. The Blue Hens looking to end the Huskies' 4-game winning streak. They put on a defensive clinic in the first half. Back right after this on Flow Hoops.
I'm Bridget Mitchell, the head women's basketball coach here at Northeastern University. In the inner city, where I'm from, there are a lot of opportunities for young boys to play different sports, and it wasn't until recently where young women received that same acknowledgement and encouragement. The City of Boston Credit Union has been tremendous in their efforts to support women's sports, and we're really appreciative. And I believe that just having people genuinely care about what you're doing goes a long way.
City of Boston Credit Union, today's teammates, tomorrow's leaders.
Fencing is, I think, an incredible sport in that it's the perfect marriage of physical and mental sort of strength.
I think fencing, just in general, selects for the type of people that Northeastern also selects for. It's a lot of really dedicated, hardworking people.
Well, at Northeastern, we didn't have a recruiting program, but we had people who were passionate about something because they got here, and we were able to all come together and really build a great team.
You've got to be incredibly physically fit to survive a bout, but on top of that, you're playing mental games with your opponent, adapting to them, and then adapting to how they adapt to you. So critical thinking is a huge, important skill for fencing, and that's something I've seen a lot in my classes with other students I've encountered around campus, something that I've actually applied in my co-ops and in my classwork. But something that really comes out on the fencing strip.
My name is Michael.
My name is Luke.
My name is Alex,
and I fence like a husky.
When Anthony was diagnosed, all he wanted to know was, can I still play basketball?
My injury was not a straight line. In the back of my head, I knew something else was wrong.
I thought, all right, give it a month, maybe 2 months, and I'll be back to the same old Brandon.
The nerves that I had weren't because I didn't believe in myself. It was the weight of our sport and a lot of young girls and women across the world.
Right away, you noticed that you would have the toughest path.
There was something about coaching that felt like home.
There really is no words for putting on the jersey and, you know, whenever you get to represent your country.
For us, Kaylee gives us something to play for. It keeps you kind of focused on what the bigger picture is.
This is a treasure for sports in Boston.
Winning this thing is the ultimate goal.
To actually run and compete and be in those races, I'd finally overcome this mental obstacle I had been battling all these years.
This season, 4 current members of the Northeastern women's ice hockey team will compete on the international stage. Representing 4 different countries, their success at the national level underscores the individual talent and achievement of each student athlete, as well as their collective ability to elevate the Northeastern program on and off the ice.
I got the message and I sat there in shock, and my best friend Katie Knoll walked in. She goes, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I just got the call." And she sat there and hugged me and cried with me. She, you know, just a really special moment, and it's gonna be a moment that I remember forever. But to share that with her and with my roommates was pretty special.
I'm always proud to put that jersey on. I'm honestly honored to represent my country. I've been on Team Friends for a while now, but I always feel that ownership, and I'm always proud to put it on. No matter how many times I put it on, it's always fun, and I just love it.
It's obviously a big honor to wear the Swiss jersey, to represent my country, and I got the chance to do it from a very early age, and I know that I'm a role model for a lot of young Swiss female hockey players at home, and it feels like a big honor every time.
I was pretty surprised. I guess just because I never thought. Like, obviously you have hopes and aspirations when you're a little kid, but to actually get the call and be on the team is a lot different. Like, if you had told me, I don't know, 20 years ago that I was going to be on a roster with Hillary Knight and Ken McCoy, like, I would have said you were lying.
Maureen Murphy now
Rock over the line, moving in.
It's always great. The coaches always text us before game day with team friends, or even, I'm sure, Switzerland team and USA team. They recognize the accomplishment it is for us, but they also support us when we have to miss games. We're Northeastern. They know what it means for us, so they're really supportive, and the team is also supportive too. They just text us all the time, and they say good luck, and sometimes they watch the game, so the support is really great.
It was so overwhelming, the support that I received when I got the chance to play at the Olympics in February, or every time at Worlds, or just whenever I can go and play with the national team. I feel the support is immensely from the whole Northeastern community, and just people that like to follow me here from Boston.
Well, Megan Carter making her debut tonight on the senior international stage, and it's pretty awesome to think, she's won gold at the 2019 U18 Women's World, and hey, the back-to-back Frozen Fours with Northeastern, I mean, that was pretty amazing as well.
Pretty cool that people recognize the work that goes into it, and everyone's like, we can't wait to watch you, we can't wait to cheer you on, and it's pretty special to be a part of a group like that that's so supportive, and I know that they have my back.
It's really inspiring for potential players that are looking at Northeastern, because it's not like we just have American kids on their national team. Like, we have Meg, who's going to her Canadian team, and then we also have international players as well. So I think it just highlights how many opportunities Northeastern hockey can present.
I always mention Northeastern when I go back home or I go to different countries to represent Team Friends, because they improved me as a player, but also as a person. And just traveling with the image of Northeastern on my back is also, I'm proud of it, and I'm also proud to honor Northeastern when I'm Team Friends. Northeastern's been helping me with hockey, so I want to share that with the whole world.
And here comes Chloe Arard. Can she do it again? Yes, she can! And the Huskies have doubled their lead.
Well, I used to play against Chloe in under 18 Worlds, and then I hated it every time. And when I heard I'm gonna be able to play with her on the same team, I was very excited, because she was such a good player from very early on, such a good skater, and competed very hard every time. And I knew if I can play on the same team with her, we will be successful.
Mueller skating wide to the left, patiently puts one in with a backhand.
I don't think I want to face any of them. I already face them in practice every day, and honestly, one-on-one against Meg, I almost never go through, because her body is just perfectly aligned with yours. Her stick moves around, you can't get through, and she's physically super strong. So obviously, I think other teams are scared. I would be too. Murph is also super scary. She's super skilled, super fast. Her IQ is incredible. She makes passes as fast as the puck moves almost. And then Alina is just, everything she does is fast. She already thought about it before even getting the puck, so I think I just don't want to face any of them.
It's time to go, she wants to stay, but mom says no. You know we cannot make your father wait. As the car pulled away, saw you looking back, hoping I could help you with your great escape. Forever and ever, and I hope that we'd find that we turned out fine. Holding your hand, squeezing tighter, the faster we ran. I remember watching
my name is Tremaine Shaw, and I'm the head coach in the cross country and track and field programs at Northeastern University. I cannot stress enough how important it is for female athletes to be given the supports, to be given opportunities. I was really impressed by the commitment City of Boston Credit Union has made to female student athletes. The more exposure that's given, the more young women will be influenced to continue down this path.
City of Boston Credit Union, today's teammates, tomorrow's leaders.
It's time to go. She wants to stay, but mom says no. You know we cannot make your father wait. As the car pulled away, saw you looking back, hoping I could help you with your great escape. Forever and ever, and I hope that we'd find that we turned out fine. Holding your hand, squeezing tighter, the faster we ran. I remember watching you cry, wish the pain away as I close my eyes. We were only barely 15, we were only barely 15. We were young and innocent, but we had our dreams. We were only 15.
Welcome back to the Cabot Center, where Delaware has a 37-27 lead over the Huskies. Paul's getting into the action with the cheerleaders here at the Cabot Center. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. And there were some positives for Northeastern in that first half. Jemima Motema did have 6 points. Jemiah Braxton really was the star for Northeastern in that first half with 12. But Delaware ends up figuring things out offensively after a slow start, Adam.
Yeah, they did, and they took a 7-point lead into the second quarter. They added 3 more to it. That's where you see a 10-point lead now at the intermission, and it was 8 couple of threes, a flurry of threes from Delaware. They finished 6 of 13 beyond the arc. An incredible number for a team that on the season, that's what they average per game, just 6 threes per contest. So if you're Northeastern, you like your chances that Delaware is not going to make 6 more in the second half, but you got to figure some things out if you want to keep pace with the top half of the CAA.
As we take a look at the standings coming into today, as you can see, Northeastern within the mix, and they entered today 5th in the conference in the CAA standings, but they did lose to Towson, so they don't have the tiebreaker over them. And there are some actually every game is in progress right now within the CAA, and right now the scores of those games not in favor of Northeastern. They're battling with William and Mary for positioning. Well, they have the lead over Elon. Towson does have the advantage over North Carolina A&T, so you can look at that positively and say, okay, if North Carolina A&T loses, well, that's advantageous for Northeastern. But Towson, as I just mentioned, a team that they're battling against. Stony Brook also has the lead, 56-52 over Hampton, and Drexel has a 33-17 lead over Hofstra. Let's send it over to our sideline reporter, Milton Posner, who had a chance to talk to both coaching staffs. Milton.
Hey guys, Cody Gilmore, one of the assistants on the Delaware staff, said that after that under 5 timeout in the first quarter, the message was just be ourselves, get out and run, open things up, don't let them trap us in the half court, pay dividends for them right away. On defense, he said, we recognize how good a transition team they are. That's the importance of being energetic, being resolute. On the other side from Bridgette Mitchell, it was pretty simple. We need to do a better job locating their shooters in transition. They're getting too many easy buckets in the flow of things, and we don't want to see as many double-digit scorers as they are on pace to have.
Thanks, Milton. And yeah, both coaching staffs right on point from what we saw in the first half, Adam. As we see Michaela Pippin head to the free throw line for 2 off the foul under the basket.
Yeah, that was ruled a foul on the shot, not in the rebounding action, and that seemed to surprise everybody, including the other members of the officiating crew when that foul came in, that it was on the shot rather than when the whistle came in. It seemed to be as the ball was already being rebounded.
Yeah, it was just a little late if that's going to be the call. Second of 2 up and in, so it's a 12-point advantage for Delaware. It's our largest lead of the game. And it looked like the Huskies were about to, get right back into it. They brought it within a 1-possession game, but Delaware has created some space.
Free throw shooting and three-point shooting, it's been the key.
Parker in the paint, left-hand hook, too strong. Good interior defense from Burdick. Cousins quickly brings it into the front court, gets it off the handoff, feeds down low. Pippin now to the perimeter as Delaware resets. Cousins feeds to Burdick in the high post, shot clock at 8. Now it's Pippin again. Shot clock down to 3, and she lays it in. What a move there by Pippin. Right-hand hook shot off the window, and it's now a 14-point lead for the Blue Hens.
She was the one that closed out scoring in the first half with that late three-pointer.
Artigan gets that one to drop in.
First point for Northeastern in the first half. First points for Northeastern here in the second belong to Artigan.
And that has to feel good for Artigan. In between those 2 made buckets, she was 0 for 9 from the floor. Turnover. The Blue Hens. It was Pippin in the corner who ends up getting credited with the turnover. Or issued the turnover. Usually credited is a little bit more positive. Artigan left wing. Up top to Braxton. Braxton, who already has 12 points today, gets it out to Iduwu on the perimeter. Back out to Braxton, right wing 3, bottom. Jemiah Braxton red hot from the floor. 5 of 9 now for 15 points.
That's big time because Northeastern, they aren't finding any other source of offense so far here tonight. She's been just about it.
Second made three-pointer for the Huskies as well. Delaware beats the press. Pippin gets it back out to the perimeter, and Cousins will set up the offense in the half court. 9-point game. Huskies on a 4-game winning streak. Trying to extend it, but they're going to have to come back from a double-digit deficit. Good hands by Motema, and it floats into the hands of Parker. Braxton shakes off Smalls. What a day for the graduate student transfer. Parker now has it on the right block. Finds Motema. Motema puts it up and in, off the window. 7-point game.
And now here comes the press for Northeastern. They love to bring it in waves.
And Delaware easily beats it this time. Mia Yanagacio. And a kick ball called against Iduwu. As Karis Idem is set to check in. She replaces Yanagacio. We take a look at that last bucket.
And that's Smalls losing track of Motema, who again just hangs in the air.
Motema now up to 8 points. She hasn't been very efficient from the floor, just 4 of 10, but she's pitched in 7 rebounds. Been a big part of the rebounding effort for the Huskies. Cousins a three-pointer, too strong. Artigan brings down the board. Great rebound in traffic for the Arizona transfer. Here's Batts to Motema, to the corner now for Braxton. She's been red hot tonight. Braxton across the lane to Batts. Batts pulls up, 2-pointer, no good. And the Blue Hens secure the rebound. Pippin another board for Delaware. She now has 6. And Braxton with the takeaway. In transition, Jemiah Braxton is fouled. 2 shots coming for Jemiah Braxton, who needs a moment on the floor after some hard contact. Michaela Pippin picks up her first personal. Great to see Motema back, or Braxton rather, back up on her 2 feet.
Yeah, and obviously the block shot is there. The ruling was just at the left shoulder of Braxton. got bumped, got into the body before that shot was blocked cleanly, because there is no debating that if you ignore the bump of the body, all ball otherwise.
So Adam, for the Blue Hens now, it's a scoring drought of 2.5 minutes, and the Huskies now on an 8-0 run with that made free throw. So just when it looked like they were dead in the water, now they've cut it to a 2-possession game.
Yeah, 14-point deficit. Looking to trim it back further.
Second of 2 is good for Braxton. She's up to 17 points.
Just 4 off the career high. And how about these two teams combining for 15 of 15 free throws tonight?
Clark Sconyers back in the game for Delaware. Mays Prince to Ojo. Chest pass to the left side for Idem and a takeaway. Here's Motema. She lays it in easily, and it's a 3-point game. An 11-0 run for the Huskies, and Delaware takes a timeout. 41-38. Northeastern's cut it to 3. 5:56 left in the third, and we'll be right back here on Flow Hoops.
When Anthony was diagnosed, all he wanted to know was, can I still play basketball?
My injury was not a straight line. In the back of my head, I knew something else was wrong.
I thought, all right, give it a month, maybe 2 months, and I'll be back to the same old Brandon.
The nerves that I had weren't because I didn't believe in myself. It was the weight of our sport and a lot of young girls and women across the world.
Right away, you noticed that you would have the toughest path.
There was something about coaching that felt like home.
There really is no words for putting on the jersey and, whenever you get to represent your country.
For us, Kaylee gives us something to play for. It keeps you kind of focused on what the bigger picture is.
This is a treasure for sports in Boston.
Winning this thing is the ultimate goal.
To actually run and compete and be in those races, I'd finally overcome this mental obstacle I had been battling all these years.
Jemiah Braxton has almost single-handedly kept the Huskies in this game. They're only down by 3, and it's thanks to an impressive outing from the graduate student transfer.
For Braxton, she's got 5 points here in this quarter, 5 of the 11 for Northeastern. And for the game, we've talked about the 17 points now. She's one of 2 Huskies in double figures, along with Jemima Motema. But just some of the shots, that's the third quarter 3 that she's gotten off. There wasn't a whole lot of daylight for her to sneak that one in there. 5 of 9 shooting overall at perfect, 6 of 6 at the free throw line. And more critically, she has been one of the pieces out on the court that has helped turn some defense into offense. 11 points this quarter, Joe, for Northeastern, an 11-0 run. 9 of those 11 points have come off of turnovers.
And they almost generated another one there. Motema has been all over the place in this third quarter on the defensive end. Shot clock at 6. 2-pointer from Mays Prince doesn't fall. Offensive rebound for Sconyers and a foul on the floor. And that's where size comes into play. And that's been the case for Delaware today. They have the advantage on the boards. It's felt bigger than what the rebounding margin is right now, which is 24-22 in favor of the Blue Hens.
The foul on Jemima Motema is her second. Nice deflection by Batts, and it gets the hand of Ojo.
And they're saying it's going...
Yeah, I thought it was off of...
And they're saying it's Northeastern ball.
Absolutely.
That was Elizabeth Kuzmetsky. She was signaling, yeah, it's going the other way.
Yep.
Just took a little bit of time for everybody to get on the same page.
I had it. How about you?
I was on it too.
Yeah.
Bristol in the paint. Nice spin move, and she's fouled. So the Virginia transfer now will head to the free throw line, and Huskies already on an 11-0 run right now, have a chance to continue to cut into this deficit.
Spun right into the arm of Sconyers, who did a decent enough job defending, but all of a sudden Bristol was not where she thought she was going to be, and Sconyers, the first player on either team to pick up a third foul. Saying that foul, the last one on Northeastern, Motema, that was only her second.
Yeah, still a lot of wiggle room to work with for Jemima Motema. Second of 2 from Bristol. That's off. That's the first miss from the free throw line for the Huskies, but Delaware turns it over. Smalls bounced it out of bounds, and now the Huskies have it in the half court with a chance to take a tie or take the lead.
6 turnovers forced by Northeastern, not even 5 minutes into this quarter.
Artigan uses the screen from Bristol. 2-pointer from Artigan. That's no good. Motema went for the loose ball, didn't get it. And now a travel called. Goes against Pippen. So with 5:02 remaining here in the third quarter, and the Huskies on a 12-0 run, once again have this opportunity to tie or take the lead. Braxton triggers it into Bristol. Artigan loses it. Mays Prince took it away, out to Cousins. Cousins, a nice spin move and a block by Motema. And they're going to say the ball is out of bounds. Cousins tried to recover and could not. 2-point game, the Huskies in striking distance. Well, the Huskies came into tonight on a 4-game winning streak. It's the program's first 4-game winning streak since the 2021 season, so roughly 2 years ago. And that big win for Northeastern over Drexel is the one to highlight. Drexel having another stellar season in the CAA. They came into today with the best record in the conference, and Northeastern was able to pick up that win on the road. Just a huge moment for the program.
A second half double-digit deficit overcome by Northeastern in that one. Looking to do the same here tonight.
We'll see if they can. Here's Jemiah Braxton floating it out to Batts. Left side to Motema. Batts to Artigan under the basket. She floats it in, and we're tied. A 14-0 run for Northeastern. Cousins hounded at half court, and another takeaway. Braxton floats it out to Artigan, who lays it in, and the Huskies take the lead.
It's starting with defense, and it has all half for Northeastern.
Another turnover for Delaware, 9 in this third quarter. Cousins, a three-pointer, spills out. An offensive rebound for Pippen. Right-hand hook shot is short. Motema the board. And Northeastern's going to slow it down, up by 2. A 16-0 run for the Huskies. Artigan. Down low to Batts. Batts feeds to Bristol. Easy layup. 4-point lead for Northeastern. The run continues with 18 straight points. Motema steals it. Motema in transition loses it, and it's going to be Delaware basketball. This place is exploding.
And it would have exploded further had that converted into a couple of points for Motema. Here is the latest in terms of points off of turnovers. A flick up ahead and Artigan. That's the easy part.
Jemima Motema, 4 steals on the defensive end.
10 turnovers forced by Northeastern this quarter.
Delaware trying to beat the timer, they do. Tamike now to the corner, Pippen a three-pointer. That hits the front of the rim. Iduwu, a rebound on the other side.
And I know Pippen hit a 3 at the end of the first half, but that might not have been the best shot there. She comes in only 2 of 16 beyond the arc this season.
A scoring drought now too, Adam, at 6 minutes for Delaware. Turnaround, she draws contact, shot doesn't go, but 2 free throws coming.
And again, we've said it, her athleticism, her ability to just get up into the air, draw the contact on the arm, and that shot did not go down, but just her strength to be able to absorb a little tap and still get that one up to the rim.
So 2:53 remaining. Huskies up by 4. Motema at the line where she's been very successful this season. She came into the game shooting 80.6% from the charity stripe, 54 of 67. Second of 2 is up and in. Motema at 12 points. Jemiah Braxton comes back in. Motema comes out. It's a 20-0 run for Northeastern. Can Delaware find an answer? They can on that possession. They turn it over. Delaware up to 19 turnovers now in the game. Braxton now to Iduwu. Feeds Bristol down low on the right block. She muscles it in. What a run for the Huskies. 22 consecutive points. And a travel. Another turnover for the Blue Hens. What a run this has been for Northeastern on the offensive and defensive end. Delaware has provided a helping hand, but what a turnaround we've seen here in the third quarter.
And this is the type of play Northeastern's put out over the course of its 4-game winning streak, but Joe, frankly, there was not a shadow of this over the first 20 minutes. You could not have expected this team would come out of halftime.
Artigan, left wing 3. That's no good, but a foul on the floor. It's going to go the other way. And it's called against Deja Bristol. That's her second, 3rd team foul for the Huskies. Now, you just said it, Adam. There wasn't a lot of signs that this was going to come here in the third quarter. Then all of a sudden, Huskies rattle off 22 consecutive points. Scoring droughts at about 7 minutes for Delaware. The Huskies had a scoring drought of roughly 8 minutes in the first quarter, so this game has had a couple of these, and big ones on both ends. Two-pointer from Burdick ends the drought, and it's a 6-point game.
Yeah, you want to talk about big ones. That's a big bucket to get this back to 6, and an unforced error by Northeastern.
Yeah, Bat's a little too strong on the pass down low and immediately saying, my bad, my bad. 1:30 remaining in the third quarter. Huskies leading by 6. Another turnover for the Blue Hens. That was Burdick looking for Cousins in the corner, and it was just led a little bit too far. So 13 turnovers now for Delaware in the last 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Braxton a 3. That's off. Idu jumps high for the board. But good fight there from Maze Prince to grab it. That's a huge size difference, but Maze Prince with her hop. Even at 5'5", she was able to go up and grab that.
Yeah, and rip it away from Idu. It looked like it was going to be, at best, a jump ball for Delaware, and instead, they get the foul call. 4 now for Northeastern in the quarter.
So Darren Artigon comes back out. Jemima Motema back in. The Huskies want at least one of those 2 players in the game because the offense, more times than not, runs through them. Maze Prince, left wing, uses the screen, kicks to the corner for Cousins. Cousins is double teamed. Maze Prince hounded in the corner, feeds down low. Pippen tries to flip it up. It hits the bottom of the backboard. And now Northeastern's off and running with Pippen down. She's back up. Bats now feeds Braxton. 3-pointer. That's good. Braxton from downtown, and it's a 9-point lead. Pippen looking to answer. Offensive foul. So second personal foul for Pippen. This crowd at the Cabot Center is in a frenzy. At least the pro Northeastern side, a large Delaware contingent, was able to make it out to the game. They had a lot to cheer for in the first half, but the Huskies have outscored the Blue Hens 25-6 here in the third quarter.
25-2 run. They had a lot to cheer about early in this third quarter. 14-point lead is a distant memory right now.
Motema looking for some late quarter offense, and that's off. She thought she was hit. So 6.6 seconds remaining.
Delaware would love a late bucket here. Just give them a pulse going into the fourth.
Maze Prince handling the rock, floats it out to Smalls. Smalls with 1 second remaining, gets a shot off, it's short, and that'll do it here in the third quarter. This game has completely flipped on its head. Northeastern using a 25-2 run, leads 52-43 through 3 quarters. We'll be back with fourth quarter action from Boston right after this.
CAA champions are built by commitment, dedication, and courage. CAA champions live on the court, on the pitch, on the track, on the field, and in the pool. CAA champions live on Flow Sports. You want more? CAA Hoops has more. More teams, more fast-paced action, more heart, more energy, more excitement. CAA Hoops, we've got more.
The year is 2010. Bridgette Mitchell, fresh off her career at Duke, is playing pro ball in Europe. She's looking for Sunday morning services. She's looking for a live stream. She wants something in English. Pickings are a little bit slim around 2010. But what does she ultimately find? A church in Maryland led by a pastor, John Jenkins, that live stream services on Sundays. Cut to 2015. Mitchell's now on the recruiting trail for Siena. She meets a fellow coach who, in her words, never shuts up. So they get to the, who are you, where are you from? And after a minute, Mitchell asks her, is your dad the pastor at Glenarden? The coach was Sarah Jenkins, and after years of friendship, support, of trash talking, of bumping gospel tunes as they carpooled to AAU events together, both women landed their first head coaching jobs, both in the CAA, within a year of each other. So for these two, it's not just a win up for grabs as we turn for home in the fourth quarter. It's bragging rights for one, and the short end of the dinner check for the other. Back to you.
Thanks, Melton. It's just an incredible story, the fact that Coach Mitchell, when she was overseas playing, somehow finds Sarah Jenkins' dad, doing these services. They end up meeting, and now we're great friends. And here they are, seeing their teams battle against one another. And talked about the bragging rights Milton just did. Delaware's won the last 8 meetings between these two teams. And a nice basket there from Item cuts the deficit to 9. So Northeastern as a program trying to end what has been a tough stretch against the Blue Hens historically.
And if that dinner check is up for grabs, you're confidently going for a fillet, I think, right?
Without a doubt. You got to get high-priced Item.
You're believing in your team and what your group's mojo's been.
Mardigan out to Motema, 3-pointer from Jemima. We talked about it earlier. That's not exactly her game, and she airballs it. Another turnover for Delaware. Well, Northeastern scored 16 points off of turnovers in the third quarter. A pretty incredible mark, Adam.
Yeah, just in one quarter, they forced 14 turnovers in the third. And that 16-point mark, that is more points off of turnovers than Northeastern has in 13 of its 25 games this season. Entire games, they did it in 10 minutes.
It's just an unbelievable stat, but the third quarter was one to remember for Northeastern. They outscored Delaware 25-6. Delaware at one point had a 14-point lead, and the Huskies just went on a barrage to take the advantage. 22 consecutive points as Sconyers fouled under the basket. That will be 2 shots for her as Jemima Motema picks up her 3rd personal foul.
Yeah, so that's her first Husky to pick up a 3rd foul for Delaware. They've got one player with 3 fouls so far here tonight. Nobody in true foul trouble. Sconyers, who goes to the line, is the 3-foul culprit for Delaware.
Sconyers with a big deep breath. The transfer from Minnesota. She sinks the first of 2. Last year at Minnesota, she was the only player to play in all 21 games. She made 14 starts, averaged 6.4 points per game. 2nd of 2 up and in. One of 7 new transfers for Delaware this season. Parker. Right block out to Braxton. Braxton, long 2, straight away, she knocks it down. Jemiah Braxton, now with a career-high 22 points.
We talked about the 21 against Elon earlier this year. Puts that in the rearview mirror. It's been some night for Braxton.
Item 3-pointer, she's able to answer. And Delaware's not going away, now down by 6.
Yeah, they've had some counter punches at times here tonight. Exactly what they've needed to do when Northeastern's been able to respond.
Idem leads all Delaware scorers with 10 points, 4 of 9 shooting and 2 of 3 from downtown. The 3 balls kept Delaware in this game. They've knocked down 7. Iduwu in the paint, feeds down low. Parker's there to lay it in.
That is the 3rd assist for Iduwu, and a couple of them have looked exactly like that.
The post play has picked up for Northeastern in the second half. Bodies on the ground, Idem's able to grab it. Now feed down low to Sconyers, and on the other side was Pippen who laid it in.
20 good seconds of defense, and Sconyers able to find herself wide open with the basketball in her hands. That's not good enough, though, for Bridgette Mitchell. She wants to timeout and sort things out.
This is her second taken timeout. The score 58-52 with 6:41 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Fun matchup between 2 very talented CAA teams. We'll be back right after this on Flow Hoops. (58-52) the score, Northeastern leading over the Blue Hens. Delaware had a 14-point lead in the 3rd quarter, and then this happened. One of the more epic scoring runs you'll ever see.
Yeah, 25-2 was the final damage. In that quarter, Northeastern outscored Delaware 25-6. We talked about the 14 turnovers that were forced. There were 6 steals, 18 or 16 points off turnovers, 18 points in the paint, just doing it every which way. And in that quarter, Braxton with 8, Motema with 6, Artagon with 6, and Deja Bristol with 5.
Parker draws contact, 2 shots coming for the sophomore out of Connecticut. The foul goes against Michelle Ojo. That's the first team foul for Delaware in this 4th quarter, and first personal for Ojo. So Parker at the line for 2. 15 of 27 at the charity stripe this season coming into tonight. And she rattles home the first of 2. That's been a big strength for Northeastern today. 12 of 13 now from the free throw line. So when they've gotten the extra opportunities, they've cashed them in. 2nd of 2 doesn't go. And Pippen ultimately grabs a defensive rebound and A foul going the other way. It's going to go against Jemiah Braxton. That's her second personal.
Second on the team in this quarter. Just one foul called so far on the Blue Hens.
Idem in the backcourt finds Mays Prince. And the freshman back to Idem. Three-pointer spills out, and Artigan grabs the rebound. Delaware now 7 of 18 from downtown. Bats the BC transfer, bounces to Artigan, and a foul called on Mays Prince.
Artigan is so well built, just sturdy, strong, and she rarely gets the size advantage, the height advantage on a defender, but when she got Mays Prince switched up on her, she had an inch or two and decided to take her to the post.
Second personal on Mays Prince. Artigan backs it up, uses the screen from Parker, now feeds her. Parker down low, blocked by Sconyers. Sconyers, as we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, she came into today third in the conference in blocks per game. She gets another one there.
Beautiful defense.
Stays Huskies basketball. Braxton with 22 points, finds Parker down low. She bounces it off the foot of Sconyers, so it's going to stay Huskies basketball.
Parker seemed resigned to the fact that that was going to be off of her foot.
In real time, it looked like it may have hit off her, but then hit off Sconyers. And that's what the officials saw. Deja Bristol into the game for Parker. Artigan down low to Bristol, but flips it up and in as the shot clock expires. Nice find by Artigan to get it to Bristol quickly, and credit Bristol for putting it up as fast as she could. Pippen up top. Idem thought about the three, then got it poked away by Batts. And a double dribble called on Idem, and we see that lockdown defense from Jalen Batts.
And you can see that left hand of Idem all bandaged up, banged up, playing through it. And that might have been one of those cases where just trying to go behind the back and maybe not having all 10 fingers available to you, lost control of the basketball.
It's been an interesting game for Batts. No points, 0 of 2 from the field, 4 assists, but she's a plus 12 in the contest. And she has a steal today. She has notched a steal in every game she's played in this season. Today's her 15th contest of the year as Artigan turns it over. Three-pointer from Demike, that's well short. Smalls is able to clean it up, and Mays Prince now has it between the rings. Under 5 minutes remaining in the contest. Northeastern up by 9. Sconyers to Pippen. Left side to Mays Prince, back down low to Sconyers, who's blocked by Bristol. And it's also off of Sconyers. Double whammy for Clark Sconyers, and Deja Bristol's fired up.
Let's see if they get this right. Yeah, that's rare that you see the block shot, but it did look like Sconyers flung it out of bounds.
Motema pull-up twos, too strong. Artigan flied in to tried to grab the rebound, but could not. Pippen in the front court, attacking, and she can't finish. It's batted right into her hand. She gets the putback to go, +1.
Beautiful finish. Frankly, there could have been a foul called on Jalen Batts in transition. I'm surprised that there wasn't way outside the arc before all this developed right here. I mean, I understand the play on if you've got the clear lane to the basket, but after not making that close range shot, Pippen stuck with it. And she's going to be rewarded. Chance to make it a three-point play.
And a chance to cut it to a two-possession game. Blue Hens have not missed at the free throw line today until now. So Pippen can't sink the and one. Announcer jinx in full effect, and it's a 7-point game with 4 minutes remaining. Artigan, left wing. Pulls up, two-pointer, that's good. Big bucket for Darren Artigan. Back to a 9-point game. Mays Prince feeds down low to Mike. has it again, and she lays it in. Nice up and under move by Rebecca Demike off the pass from Pippen.
And a technical foul has been issued to Maze Prince. Well, the technical foul, according to what the official said, is watch the mouth of Maze Prince at the official saying that should have been an and one. And not just saying that, but a few other words in there as well, but that was what the technical foul was for Maze Prince.
That's a teaching moment, and you just saw it there for Sarah Jenkins, the first-year head coach, Nakaya Maze Prince, who certainly has impressed today, but a bad time to pick up a technical foul as Artigan sinks the first of 2 shots.
And I don't think that Maze Prince was necessarily fully frustrated that it wasn't an and one. I think you saw her get bumped and go to the court as well, and there was a little bit of residue from that non-call on her. Again, she's 5'5", fighting tooth and nail out there. She's been a really impressive fixture on the court all season for Delaware, and especially here tonight. And it is just a frustrating moment, but keep track of that one extra point that Maze Prince has just handed Northeastern here.
Darren Artigan in double figures. She has 12 points. Good feed down low. Bristol, easy layup.
Oh, to trust your big with those kind of hands in traffic in the post.
What a feed from Darren Artigan. 4th assist of the night. 10-point contest. Ojo puts it on the deck, loses it, and a foul. It's going to go against Bristol. No, actually, it's going to be Jalen Batts.
Third on her.
Number 24, Asha Parker back in for the Huskies. Number 25, Clark Scott back in for
Third personal for Batts. 14 foul for Northeastern. As Batts now comes out. Sconiers to Pippen. Now to Demike, back to the corner. Cousins has it. Cousins rises, and the 2-pointer's good. So Tara Cousins knocks it down. It's an 8-point game. Artigan. She uses the screen from Bristol. Whips it to Braxton, who has 22 points tonight, a career high. Braxton back to Artigan. Shot clock at 5. Can she make something happen? Artigan pulls up. 2-pointer from the free throw line. Hits the front of the rim twice. And it's brought down by Cousins. Now Demike wide open for a triple. That doesn't fall. Bristol fighting for the loose ball and a foul on the floor. This time it's going to go against Deja Bristol.
And a 5th foul on Northeastern gives Delaware a pair of free throws here.
Yeah, the Blue Hens in the bonus. And for Bristol, that's now 4 personal fouls. So Jalen Batts is going to come back in, but she's going to replace Asha Parker. 2:23 remaining. Sconiers at the line for 2. She came into the game 8th in the CAA in free throw percentage. 5 of 5 from the charity stripe tonight. Perfect swish on the first attempt. Just a pretty stroke from the free throw line for Sconiers.
Been a well-balanced attack. Now 4 different scores in double figures for Delaware.
And the second of 2 is up and in. The first time these two teams played, Delaware had 6 players in double figures, so it was a balanced scoring attack in that game, which they ended up winning 77-67.
Well, they've got 4 in double figures, and Smalls right on the cusp with 9.
Northeastern beats the press. Artigan finds Bristol, and Bristol lays it in. Back to an 8-point game. Artigan another dime, 2 more points. She's up to 13 on 6 of 6 shooting. Turnaround floater from Ojo doesn't go. Braxton in the backcourt. Braxton to Batts in the corner. She finds Artigan. Artigan whips it to Braxton in the left wing. Feeds down low Bristol. Bristol, left-hand hook off the window, doesn't drop in. Her first miss from the floor tonight. So still an 8-point game. Under a minute and a half remaining. The Blue Hens are running out of time. Cousins spins. Baseline pass, and now the attack from Pippen doesn't go. Foul on the floor goes against Artigan. And so we're gonna have a substitution for Delaware.
Immediately Artigan put her hand up, basically knowing the situation. She does not have a foul. She's got one now. Jalen Batts was also in the area. It would have been her fourth. And so Artigan was more than happy to pick up foul number 1, protecting her teammate, putting Ojo at the line, who is a 70% free throw shooter coming into tonight.
She's already 2 of 2 from the free throw line tonight. With the crowd in her ear. Doesn't sink the first of 2. Northeastern on a 4-game winning streak, looking to make it 5. Can they cross the finish line? 1 minute, 14 seconds left. Second of 2, up and in. So Ojo comes out. Motema to Artigan. Now to Parker. So Northeastern once again beats the press. Artigan in the paint, drives and finishes. "14 points for Darren Artigan, and it's a 9-point lead. Cousins rises, 2-pointer, hits the heel.
Delaware's calling it off, down 9 in the final minute.
Artigan left wing to Braxton. "15-second difference between shot clock and game clock." Motema backs it up. The battering ram attacks, flips it up. Offensive foul goes against Jemima Motema. They're saying she used her left arm to create some contact.
But here is Artigan getting a defender on her back, stepping on accelerator, and finishing with a game-sealing bucket.
What a crafty move for Darren Artigan. The Huskies, who are down by 14 in the third quarter, are going to pull out a victory here at the Cabot Center. Floater in the lane, doesn't go. 3-pointer now from Pippen, hits the heel, and that'll do it. The Huskies come back from down double figures in the third quarter. They use a 25-2 run and end up winning this 70-61 on their home court. 5 consecutive W's for Northeastern.
Now the Huskies are still mired in a tie to the top half of the standings, but going into halftime when you're down 10, that's not looking so promising. And Northeastern, we couldn't have sliced it up anymore with what they did in quarter number 3. The defense, the turnovers, defense sparking offense, and Northeastern in the second half, absolutely outstanding. They shot 17 of 29, nearly 60% from the field in half number 2. After being held to 27 first half points, they exploded for 43 after intermission.
And how about the resilience from this Northeastern team? They went through a huge scoring drought in the first quarter. You credit their defense for allowing them to stay in it as we take a look at the out-of-town scores. And Stony Brook picks up the win over Hampton, so that's not good for Northeastern. That's a team they're trying to jump in the standings. William & Mary beats Elon, so that keeps that race tight for that 4th spot in the CAA standings. And that 4th spot's so important because if you're a top 4 seed, you get a double bye in the CAA tournament. Drexel leading over Hofstra 58-34, and then UNCW with the win over College of Charleston 63-46. And that game's in the fourth quarter. So what a win for the Huskies, 70-61 at the final. Let's send it down to Milton Posner, who's standing by with Jemiah Braxton.
Jemiah, it was 22 unanswered points for you guys in the third quarter. What was the message at halftime to let you guys turn it around?
We just had to pick up the defense. We were letting them get too many open shots, so we just had to pick it up and punch out when we came out.
22 points was also the mark for you. That's a career high. What sort of opportunities were you seeing out there in the Delaware defense?
No, I'm just reading the defense and taking what they give me. I've been in the gym working on this every day, so it's fun to be showing.
And lastly, this is 5 in a row for you guys. It takes you from a 3-way tie for fourth to a 4-way tie for third in a competitive league. What's allowing you to turn the corner at the right time?
We just keep pushing every day in practice. We know what it takes. This is a competitive league, so we know what it takes. We have to fight every day.
Awesome. Best of luck the rest of the way. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Milton. Great to hear from Jemiah after a career-high performance. 22 points, and it was a 22-0 run for Northeastern that propelled them in the third quarter to take the lead and seize the game for good as they win this 70-61 over Delaware. I want to thank our entire production crew and my two co-broadcasters, Milton Posner, our sideline reporter, and my co-broadcaster, Adam Giardino. I'm Joe Wild saying so long from the Cabot Center, where the Huskies win it 70-61.